very important concepts in economics. The first one is what we call it as a production possibility curve, and then the second concept which we will be covering is opportunity cost. Don't worry, I'll try to make it very simple for you to understand. So here you can see this is what we call it as a PPC. PPC is nothing but production possibility curve. Now, as we have studied in economics, the resources are scarce. The resources are limited. So because of the limited resources, a producer cannot produce all the things that he needs to produce, which we have already understood earlier. So this is a table which illustrates the production possibility of a simple economy, means in a country, taking example, producing two commodities. So to understand or to explain production possibility curve PPC, always remember we have to take in consideration two products or two commodities. So in our example, the two commodities are cars and computers. So here you can see in the table here we have in the first column we have production possibility. In the second column, second column we have computers, and in the third column cars. So here in our example there are four production possibilities. So here we can see the maximum commodity or the maximum product which an economy can produce is 20,000. Okay. Now in the first production possibility, combination, if a company or if an economy decides to produce 20,000 cars, that means if it decides to produce 20,000 cars with the available resources, which means they cannot produce computers, because the maximum quantity which can be produced in an economy is 20,000, and this entire resources they are using for producing the cars. So the maximum they can produce is 20,000. So if they are producing 20,000 cars, how much computers they can produce? Zero. Similarly, the second combination, which is B, which says that if the economy decides to produce or use the resources for producing 20,000 computers, which means all the resources are used for making computers, and the maximum commodity that they can produce is 20,000, which means that if they are producing 20,000 computers, they cannot produce cars because the resources available is less or limited. Moving on to the third combination, in our example, which is E, you can see here E. So if the economy decides that they will be making 5,000 computers. So I just told you what is the maximum quantity which the economy can produce is 20,000. So if they are producing 5,000 computers, so the remaining resources they will use, that means they will be able to produce 15,000 cars. So 15,000 plus 5,000, that is 20,000. fourth combination is F. Here we can see if an economy decides to produce more computers, means if they decide to produce computers, earlier they were producing 5,000 computers, now they decide they will make 10,000 computers, means they are increasing the production of computers by 5,000. So in this case, what they have to do, which means they are using the resources towards producing more computers. So they are producing 5,000 computers more. So what they have to do, when the economy is producing 5,000 computers more, what will happen? They will have to produce less cars. So earlier they were producing 15,000 cars, now they will be producing 10,000 cars, because the total quantity which they can produce is 20,000. So in simple terms, if the economy decides to increase the production of one commodity, they have to reduce the production of another commodity because of limited resources. So here you can see in our example, if the economy decides to produce more computers, increase the production of computers from 5,000 to 10,000, then as per production possibility curve, the economy has to reduce the production of cars from 15,000 to 10,000. So I repeat, in production possibility, we have to consider any two commodities, and as per production possibility, it says that when a company or when an economy decides to increase the production of one product or commodity, they have to decrease the production of another commodity. Understood? So the same thing, when we plot this on a graph from this table, when we draw the graph, okay, from the table, this is a graph. From the table, when we draw the graph, we get a curve. This is a curve. This line is called as a curve. This line is called as a curve. And this line or the curve is called as production possibility curve. So here we will see how to draw the production possibility curve. The first thing that we will be doing it here is, this is our x. We will draw, see, I am just drawing above that. This is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. Okay, on the x-axis I have written computers, on y-axis we have plotted cars. This is O. O is nothing but origin. Now based on the tables, we will just plot it down. Based on the table, we will plot down the quantity. So you can see in the first combination, A, the quantity produced of computer is 0 and that of car is 20,000. So as we have plotted, on the x-axis we have computers and on the y-axis we have cars. So here you can see, as per combination A, computers is 0. So this is computers. So here it will come 0. And the cars are 20,000. Here it is mentioned as A. So this A is also nothing but, you can write it is 20,000. So this is my 20,000. Now we will take the second combination, which is B. In this combination you can see the total quantity of computers produced is 20,000 and cars is 0. So here we will see the car is 0 and the computer is 20,000. So this, it is mentioned as B, which is nothing but, if we take in numbers, it is 20,000. Then we will see the third combination, that is E. And a third combination, there are 5,000 computers and the production of cars are 15. So here it is computers. Here it is plotted. So this my T is nothing but, this is my 5,000. The computers are 5,000. And then here this S is nothing but my quantity of cars, which is 15,000. So you can write 15,000 or you can write S as given in our example. Then the fourth combination is F, wherein we have the quantity produced of computer is 10,000 and the quantity produced of car is 10,000. So here in our example, it is taken as M. This my M is 10,000. And this is my N. The N is also cars. Number of cars produced is 10,000. Now we join this point. See, this is A and S, means here you can see the computers are 5,000. This combination, my E combination is E. We will join this point. 15,000 of cars and 5,000 of my computers. This is point E. Then the another combination is 10,000 cars and 10,000 computers. This is my point F. And one combination is A, which means the car is 20,000. Here you can see A, the car is 20,000 and computer is 0. Then we can see the combination B, where the computers are 20,000. Here you can see, and the car is 0. So this one is B. Now we have four combination A, B, E and F. So we can see in the graph we have A, E, F and B. Now what we will do? We will join all these points. What we will be doing it? We will be joining all the points A, E, F and B. When we join all these points, A, E, F and B, we get a curve. This is a curve. So this curve is known as nothing but production possibility curve. So is that clear to everyone? This is how we draw the production possibility curve based on the table. We draw it on the graph. When we draw it on the graph, it is nothing but it is a curve. So the points which we should take care, we should remember in production possibility curve, I just repeat, summarize that when production possibility curve is explained, we have to take into consideration two commodities. It can be any two commodities. You can take table and chair. You can take mobile and TV, televisions. In our example, we have taken cars and computers. And then we can take any different combination, but we have to decide the maximum commodity which can be produced by an economy is limited. In our example, it is 20,000. So it can be any combination. You can take other combination, like if they are producing 8,000 computers, then they will produce 12,000 cars. If they are producing 6,000 cars, they will produce 14,000 computers. So the maximum quantity which can be produced is limited because the resources are scarce or limited. Now what I have explained, the same thing, we will see the explanation again. So here you can see the graph explains the unit of goods that a company can produce if all resources are utilized productively. So here we can see here, as I have already told you, a single commodity, that is computers, maximum manufacturing probability is arranged on x-axis. I just explained you, computer means it is on x-axis. And that of other commodity means y is on, another commodity car is on y-axis. You can see here what I have explained in the previous slide. We are repeating it again for your clarity. Okay, so on x-axis we have computers, on y-axis we have cars. So now you can see our combination A, here it is A, which says that if we are making 20,000 cars, here the cars are 20,000, means OA units. So we can see here, this is my OA units, means 20,000. I have mentioned here already. So the maximum quantity we can produce is 20,000. So here you can see in our graph it is written as cars OA units or 20,000 in our example. Then when we see computers, how much computers we can make, it is nothing but here it is given OB units as per the graph, or the maximum quantity is 20,000. So OB or 20,000, whichever you write is okay. When we join the points, I just told you, joining the points A and B, we get a curve, and this curve is called as production possibility curve, which is AB. Further explaining this graph, so the commodity decides to produce both the commodity. Earlier in our previous things we saw, if the economy is producing only cars, so they are producing 20,000 cars, 0 computers. If the economy decides to produce only computers, which is 20,000 computers, so 0 cars. Another combination now we are looking here is if the economy decides to produce both the commodities. Now they are producing both the commodities with the available resources. It can produce different combinations, various combinations of cars and computers, but they have to stay on the curve A and B, means the maximum quantity is nothing but it should be 20,000. So these are two combinations which we have already studied. We see in E, the combination E, the company or the economy produces OS unit of cars, OS units. Here it is given OS unit means it is nothing but 15,000 cars. You can see it in the table, 15,000 cars. And OT units, this is my OT units. And this OT unit is nothing but 5,000 computers. The another combination which is F, if the economy decides to produce ON units, it can produce ON units, which means this is 10,000 cars and OM units. This one is our OM units, which again means 10,000 cars and 10,000 computers. They have to be on the same curve, production possibility curve. Now, there is one more thing which we call it as a marginal rate of transformation. So it can be seen that to produce more computers, some units of cars are to be sacrificed. That is, cars can be transformed to computers. It is nothing but transformation means if company or an economy, see here in our table, if before economy was producing 5,000 computers, now they decided to produce 10,000 computers, means they decide to increase the production of computers. So for producing more computers, the economy has to reduce or decrease the production of cars. So it is nothing but they are transforming the money which they save or the resources which they save by producing less cars will be transformed, will be utilized for producing more computers. Which is explained here. So to produce more computers, some units of cars has to be sacrificed, means some unit of cars has to be produced less, and the resources which is saved by producing less cars will be utilized, will be transformed, will be transferred to the production of computers. So what is MRT? Marginal rate of transformation. It is nothing but it is the rate at which one product is transformed into another product, is called as marginal rate of transformation. So here we can see in our example, MRT between cars and computers is the unit of cars. That means in our case it is 5,000 which has to be sacrificed for the production of computers. So you can see, if the economy decides to produce 5,000 computers more, what they have to do? They have to reduce or decrease the production of cars. So before they were producing 15,000 cars, now they will make 10,000 cars, which means 15,000 minus 10,000. So 15,000 was the car which was produced earlier. Now if the economy wants to increase the production of computers, they have to reduce the production of cars. So just minus, change in production of car from earlier to the present situation or condition. So it is 10,000. 15,000 minus 10,000, this 5,000 is what we call it as a MRT, marginal rate of transformation. So the resources which is saved by producing less cars is utilized, is transformed for producing more computers. Okay, so here we can see the calculation, marginal rate of transformation. So MRT increases as more of one commodity is produced and less of another commodity. This makes production possibility curve concave to the origin. This is concave. So as I already told you, what happens if the economy decides to produce more computers from 5,000 to 10,000, what they have to do? They have to produce less cars. Again, we'll give you one more example. If I take G, one more combination. So if the economy decides to produce 15,000 computers, they increase it by 5,000 again. So what they have to do? They have to produce less cars. That means 5,000 cars only. Because the total quantity, the total production that they can do it with the available resources is 20,000 only. For staying on the production possibility curve. Okay. Here you can see how to calculate MRT, marginal rate of transformation. The formula is MRT is equal to change in Y by change in X. This is nothing but, we call it as a change in commodity Y, a product Y, and then this is change in X. Change in commodity X. So MRT is what? Change in Y divided by change in X. In our example, you will see the first row we will not see because it is 0 and 30 initial. After this, what is the change? Change in Y is how much? From 30, now it is 27. So change in Y is how much? 30. Commodity was 30 minus 27. So how much is the change in Y? It is 3. We will write it here, 3. Divide H2 means as nothing but divide by 1. So here before commodity X0, now it is 1. How much is the change? 1. So our MRT is equal to 3 H2 1 is nothing but 3 divided by 1, which is 3. Similarly, now before 27, now change in Y is 21. So before it was 27. Now the quantity produced of Y is 21. So the change is 6. Here we write 6. Change in X is from 1, it is 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So this is 6 is to 1, which is nothing but 6. Similarly, from 21 to 12, change is 9. X commodity 2 units to 3 units 1, which means 9 is to 1, which is nothing but 9. And then finally 12, change is 0. So 12 minus 0 is 12, and this from 3 to 4, that means 4 minus 3 is 1. So 12 is to 1, which is nothing but 12. So the formula for calculating MRT is nothing but change in commodity, one commodity divided by change in Y, X and Y, another commodity. There is one more point which I would like to explain here is, you can see this production possibility curve is there. So point C in the figure, you can see here point C. Point C is above, it is above this production possibility curve, which is above. So anything above the production possibility curve is not attainable, means it is not possible, it is not feasible. So point C in the figure is not attainable or not feasible, means it is not possible for the economy because it is above the production possibility curve AB, which is beyond the capacity of economy. So you can see here C is nothing but which explains that the economy will be producing 20,000 of computers and 20,000 of cars. So total that they can produce as per this point C is 40,000, which is not possible because you can see in our example here in table the maximum quantity which can be produced by the economy is 20,000. So C is above the line which says that 20,000 computers, 20,000 cars. So total 40,000, which is not possible, which is not attainable, not possible. The another one is underutilization. You can see here point D. Here it is a point D, which is below the production possibility curve. So point D, which is attainable, it can be attainable, but it is not desirable, because in that case the economic resources will not be used most effectively. So the economy can produce total 20,000 of product, but point D below means they are producing below their capacity. They are producing 5,000 computers and 5,000 cars, means total they are producing 10,000, which is less than 20,000, which means the economy can produce 10,000 more. If they don't produce, they are losing their resources. The resources are wasted. They are losing their profit. So this is the explanation of production possibility curve. Anything above the production possibility curve is not attainable, and anything below the production possibility curve point D is underutilization. The same thing is explained here in this diagram. Very attractive diagram. You can see on the x-axis here we have taken agriculture goods, and y-axis the example is that of capital goods. So if a country decides to produce agriculture goods or a capital goods, so here we have this production possibility curve, this red line. This is our production possibility curve. So anything above this production possibility curve is not attainable. See, you can see not attainable is point. This point, it is above, it is not attainable. And any point here you can see this point, this blue dots, any combination on this line, the production possibility curve is full utilization of resources, which is the best outcome. Another thing, these 2 points you can see in the red, the 2 red dots, which is below the production possibility curve, which means it is underutilization of resources. We are not using our resources completely. The same explanation from the previous slides, just this is presented in a very good attractive picture or a diagram. So now we will move on. That was all related to production possibility curve. Now we will move on to the opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? I'll give you different examples. Don't worry. So opportunity cost is a term which means the cost of something in terms of an opportunity foregone. This is also related to the previous concept, production possibility, and the benefits that could be received from that opportunity or the most valuable foregone alternatives. Don't worry, give me 2 minutes. I'll give you example. The points will be clear. So in other words, the opportunity cost of a given commodity is the next best alternative. Next best alternative means the next best options which is available to us. If we do one thing, we cannot do another thing because there is some limitations of resources. I'll give you practical examples. Don't worry. The second option, the best option. So as we know that productive resources are scarce. The resources are scarce. We have limited resources. The money available is less. The workers available is less. So we cannot make everything. We have to decide what is more important, which will give us more profit, benefit. We will produce that. So the production of one commodity means not producing another commodity. The commodity that is sacrificed is the real cost of commodity that is produced. So I'll give you example for understanding this. Here in our example you can see a certain kind of bamboo. Bamboo means it is a kind of wood. So an economy is having a wood. With this wood, the wood can be used to produce both. We can use the wood to produce paper, or we can use it for producing furniture. With the wood we can make furniture and furniture and paper. If the business takes a decision, if the businessman, they take a decision for considering using this bamboo, if they are using this wood for making furnitures, what will happen? Then the society has to forego the number of bamboos that could have been used for manufacturing papers. I'll give you example, don't worry. So if we have 10 kgs of bamboo, if a business is having 10 kgs of bamboo, bamboo or wood, I'll write it here. So if a business is having a 10 kg of bamboos, this bamboos is nothing but what we call wood. So with this 10 kg of wood or a bamboo, a business can produce one furniture. To make one furniture, we need 10 kg of bamboos. Or with this 10 kg of bamboos, we can make 1000 papers. But with 10 kg of bamboo or wood, can we make both? So if the business wants to make one furniture, and if the business wants to make 1000 paper also, they need 20 kg of bamboos. But what is happening? Here you can see the productive resources are scarce, limited. The business is having only 10 kgs of wood or bamboo. So if they decide that they will be making furniture with this 10 kgs of wood or bamboo, then they cannot make 1000 papers. So they are making furniture with 10 kg of woods, which means they are foregoing, they sacrifice, they cannot make papers. Means what is the next alternative? What is the another option of using this bamboo is papers. So if you decide to make furniture, we sacrifice making papers. This is opportunity cost. The second opportunity, the second chance, the other thing which they can make is paper. Why they cannot make both? Because the productive resources are scarce or limited. So here the opportunity cost of producing furniture is the number of papers that are foregone. Means the company is making one furniture. When they make one furniture, what is the another option they can make with this wood is 1000 papers, which they sacrifice, which they did not make because of scarce resources. Another example I'll give. Take example, if students are preparing, they have examination at 10 o'clock in the morning. So alternative, if you have exams at 10 o'clock in the morning, you wake up at 8 o'clock. So there is two options. If you wake up at 8 o'clock, you have 2 hours. These 2 hours of time you can use it for studying. If you are studying, your performance in the examination will improve. Second thing, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock, the second alternative is that students can sleep. So if these 2 hours you are using for sleeping, you cannot study. If you are studying, you cannot sleep. So the time which is limited, 2 hours is remaining from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock. You can use it for any one purpose because the time is scarce, limited. So if you use these 2 hours for sleeping, you cannot use it for studying. And if you use it for studying, you cannot sleep. This is what we call it as an opportunity cost. Is that clear, everyone? So here you can see another example, PPC and opportunity cost. It is similar. I just told you. So moving from point A to B, here you can see it will lead to an increase in services. Moving from A to B, on this x-axis we have written services and on the y-axis we have taken goods. So if the country or the economy decides these two things, either they are providing goods or they are providing services. So here you can see the opportunity cost is that output of goods falls from 22 to 18. Here you can see A, this is our A. A is what? How much is the goods the country is making? 22. And how much services they are providing? 21. Now if the country or the economy decides that they will be providing more services, before they were providing 21 services, now they increase services to 27. So if they increase one thing, they have to reduce the production of goods from 22 to 18. Just now we studied in PPC. If you increase the production of one thing, you have to decrease or reduce the production of another commodity. So here you can see the opportunity cost of increasing the consumption of services is 4 goods foregone. How much goods we have lost? Before we were making 22 goods, now we are making 18 goods. Means 22 goods before, now making only 18 goods, which means 4 goods are produced less for producing more services. This is a combination of PPC and opportunity cost. Here you can see before services were 21, now it is 27. So when we increase the production of services, the economy or the country has to reduce the production or the output of goods from 22 to 18. So how much the quantity of goods they have produced less for producing more services? It is 4. Remember change in quantity, before it was 22, now it is 18. So 4 goods the country has to make less for producing or for providing 6 services extra. The concepts are similar. Okay, just we will see one exercises. Already we have done up. So an organization is producing 2 goods X and Y with an optimum use of resources in 80 and 130 quantity respectively. That means good X is 80 and the commodity Y is 130. I have underlined with different colors. Suppose organization has decided to increase the quantity production of product X. X was before 80. Now they are producing X from 90 to 95. Means if they increase the production of X, what will happen? There will be decrease in the quantity of production of Y from 130 to 100. Now we have to find out the opportunity cost. Remember I have explained you opportunity cost or MRT, marginal rate of transformation. The formula was change in commodity Y divided by change in commodity X. So here you can see before commodity X was produced 80, commodity Y was 130. Now if the economy or the organization decides to increase the production of X from 80 to 95, they have to reduce the production of Y from 130 to 100 because resources are limited. So when we put this in the formula, you can see change in X by change in Y. So change in y is how much? Before y was 130, now it is 100. So 130 minus 100 is 30. And change in commodity x is, before it was 80, now it is 95, which means 15. So 30 divided by 15 is 2. So here you can see the opportunity cost of producing one additional units of x is 2 units of y. Which means if the company or the organization or economy decides to make one more unit of x, they have to produce 2 units less of y. Alternatively, we can see the opportunity cost of producing 15 units of S is 30 units. Means from before they were making 80 units of X, now they are making 95 units of X. Means they are making 15 units more of X. So from making 15 units more of X, how much they are reducing? Before 130 units of Y, now 100 units. So 130 minus 100, that is 30. So which means if they produce 15 more units of X, they have to reduce the production of units Y by